I was 45 years old when I saw her again. 15 years had passed since I'd made the biggest mistake of my life, choosing fear over love, safety over truth. I'd built a successful life, corner office, respected reputation, a marriage that looked perfect in photographs. But the moment Sophia walked into that charity gala, every carefully constructed lie I'd told myself shattered. She was supposed to be my past, the one I'd let go, the one I'd convinced myself I'd gotten over. But when our eyes met across that crowded room, I knew three things with absolute certainty. I had never stopped loving her. She had never forgiven me. And I was about to risk everything I'd spent 15 years building for one chance, just one chance, to become the woman I should have been all along. Question for you. Have you ever run into someone from your past and realized you'd been lying to yourself about being over them? What happened? The champagne tasted like regret. I stood at the edge of the Boston Museum ballroom, watching couples drift across the marble floor in their designer gowns and tailored suits, and wondered, not for the first time, how I'd become this person. Victoria Chen, Chief Marketing Officer, wife of Senator Jonathan Chen, woman who had everything, woman who had nothing that mattered. You look a million miles away. Jonathan appeared at my elbow, his practiced smile in place. 20 years of political training meant he could read a room, but he had never learned to read me. Just tired, I lied. It was what I did best. He nodded, already scanning the crowd for his next networking opportunity. The senator from Vermont is here. I should go. I waved him off. I'll be fine. Fine. Another lie. I collected them like some women collected shoes. That's when I saw her. Sophia Moretti stood near the silent auction tables, her dark curls now shot through with silver, her emerald dress highlighting curves I'd once known better than my own body. She was laughing at something the woman beside her said, her head thrown back in that uninhibited way she had, the way that had first captivated me at 28. My champagne glass slipped. I caught it, but the moment of clumsiness drew her attention. Our eyes locked. The room disappeared. The music, the people, Jonathan somewhere networking, all of it vanished. There was only Sophia and 15 years of silence screaming between us. She didn't smile, didn't wave, just held my gaze with those dark Italian eyes that had once looked at me like I was her entire world. Before I'd destroyed us, before I'd chosen Jonathan and respectability over the woman I loved. She turned away first. The dismissal felt like a slap. Victoria? A colleague appeared. Are you all right? You look pale. Excuse me, I managed, setting down my glass. I need some air. I fled to the terrace like a coward. Because that's what I was, wasn't it? I'd spent 15 years being the brave corporate executive, the perfect political wife, the woman who had it all together. But faced with Sophia Moretti, I was still that terrified 28-year-old who'd left a note on her pillow and disappeared into a marriage of convenience. Running away again? Her voice hit me like bourbon, smooth, burning, familiar. I turned. Sophia stood in the terrace doorway, backlit by the ballroom lights, looking like every dream I'd ever had and every regret I'd ever buried. I didn't know you'd be here, I whispered. Would you have come if you did? She stepped closer. Or would you have found another excuse to avoid me, like you've been doing for 15 years? I'm sorry. The words were pathetic. 15 years of silence, and that's all I could offer. Sophia laughed, bitter, sharp. Sorry, that's what you lead with? Victoria, you left me a fucking note. We'd been together 3 years. We'd talked about moving to Vermont where we could get married. We'd looked at houses, and you left me a note that said, I can't do this, and married Jonathan Chen 6 months later. Each word was a knife. I deserved every cut. My father, don't, she held up her hand, Don't you dare blame your father. Yes, he threatened to disown you. Yes, he said he'd ruin your career. But those were his choices, Victoria. Choosing Jonathan, choosing the closet, choosing to erase me, those were yours. The tears came before I could stop them. I was terrified. So was I. Her voice cracked. I was terrified every day being openly gay in corporate America in 2009. But I did it anyway, because I loved you, because I thought you loved me enough to be brave. I did love you, I do. Stop. She stepped back. You don't get to say that. You're married. You've built this perfect heterosexual life. You've spent 15 years pretending I never existed. I've spent 15 years in hell, I said quietly. Sleeping next to a man I respect but don't love, playing the perfect wife at political dinners, dying a little more every day. You want to know the truth, Sophia? I think about you every single day. Every morning when I wake up next to Jonathan, I think about waking up next to you. Every time I have to smile through another fundraiser, I remember dancing with you in our apartment. Every anniversary, every holiday, every moment of my perfectly constructed lie, I think about the life we could have had. She was crying now, too. Then why are you still with him? The question I'd been asking myself for 15 years. Because I'm a coward, I admitted. Because leaving now means admitting I wasted 15 years. Because I'm 45 years old and I don't know how to be brave. Sophia wiped her eyes, smudging her mascara. Even crying, she was beautiful. I didn't come to Boston for you. I came because my company is opening an office here. But seeing you tonight, Victoria, I spent 5 years hating you. 5 more years trying to forget you. And the last 5 accepting that you were the love of my life and I'd never get over you. My heart stopped. Sophia, I'm not done. She took a shaky breath. I'm 50 years old. I've dated, had relationships, even got engaged once. None of them were you. None of them made me feel what you made me feel. And I've made peace with that. With the fact that my great love story ended with a note and a broken heart. It doesn't have to end that way, doesn't it? She looked at me with those heartbreaking eyes. What are you offering, Victoria? An affair? Secret meetings while you play the senator's wife? That's not love, that's just another way of hiding. She was right. God, she was always right. What if I left him? The words hung in the air between us. I'd never said them out loud before. Never even let myself think them seriously. Sophia's expression shifted. Hope, fear, disbelief. Don't say that unless you mean it. Did I mean it? Could I really blow up my entire life? Her face closed off. That's what I thought. Goodbye, Victoria. She walked away. Again. Except this time, I was the one being left behind, and I deserved it. I didn't sleep that night. I lay next to Jonathan, watching the ceiling fan rotate, thinking about Sophia's face when she'd walked away. You should leave me, Jonathan said into the darkness. I froze. What? He turned to face me, and in the dim light from the window, I saw understanding in his eyes. Victoria, I'm not blind. I saw how you looked at her tonight. Sophia Moretti, your college roommate from the photos you thought I'd never notice. Shame flooded through me. Jonathan, I'm gay, Victoria. The world tilted. What? He sat up, running his hands through his hair. I'm gay. I have been my whole life. And I've spent 20 years in a marriage of political convenience with a lesbian who was too afraid to live her truth. We've both been living a lie. I couldn't breathe. Why didn't you ever say anything? Same reason you didn't. Fear, ambition, family pressure. My father wanted a political dynasty. Your father wanted you married to someone appropriate. We gave them what they wanted and destroyed ourselves in the process. 20 years. 20 years of careful pretense, and he'd known all along. Do you... I couldn't finish the question. Have someone? Yes, David. We've been together for 5 years. He's patient, understanding, but he's also tired of being a secret. Jonathan's voice broke. I'm tired of being a secret, Victoria. I'm 53 years old and I want to hold the man I love's hand in public. I want to stop performing heterosexuality for the voters. I started crying. For him, for me, for all the years we'd wasted. Your political career might survive, might not. Massachusetts is progressive, but a gay senator is still risky. But you know what's riskier? Waking up at 60 and realizing I spent my whole life living for everyone except myself. He took my hand, friendly, not romantic. We'd perfected friendly decades ago. We could help each other, he said. Conscious uncoupling, supportive divorce. I come out, you're the understanding ex-wife who supports me. And then, maybe 6 months later, you're photographed with a new partner, a woman. Sophia might not forgive me, I whispered. She might not. But Victoria, at least you'll be free. At least you'll have tried. We've spent 20 years being safe. Don't you want to spend the next 20 being happy? I thought about Sophia's face on that terrace, the pain I'd caused, the love that had survived despite everything. I'm terrified, I admitted. So am I. Jonathan squeezed my hand. Let's be terrified together. One last performance, the perfect political divorce, and then we're done pretending. The next morning, I called my lawyer. By afternoon, the separation papers were drafted. Jonathan and I released a joint statement. After 20 years of marriage and deep friendship, we were consciously uncoupling with mutual respect and support. The media went insane. My phone exploded. My father called, furious. Jonathan's campaign manager had a breakdown. I blocked them all and drove to the address I'd found for Sophia's company. She was in a meeting. I waited in the lobby for 2 hours, ignoring the receptionist's increasingly concerned looks. When she finally emerged and saw me, she stopped dead. Victoria, what are you doing here? I stood, smoothing my skirt, a nervous habit I'd never broken. I filed for divorce this morning. Her face went carefully blank. And you came to tell me this why? Because 15 years ago, I made the biggest mistake of my life, and last night you asked me what I was offering. I couldn't answer then, but I can now. The lobby was full of people, professional, public, everyone watching. I didn't care anymore. I'm offering everything, Sophia. I'm offering honesty, freedom, a life where I don't have to hide who I am or who I love. I'm offering you a woman who's finally brave enough to choose love over fear. My voice shook. I'm offering me, messy, terrified 45-year-old me, who's been in love with you for 17 years and was too much of a coward to admit it. Silence. The receptionist was openly staring now. I don't expect you to forgive me, I continued. I don't expect you to give me another chance. But I needed you to know you were right about everything, and I'm done running. Sophia's eyes were wet. You filed for divorce. This morning. This morning. After one conversation with me. After 15 years of knowing I made the wrong choice. She stepped closer. Victoria, if we do this, if we try again, I need all of you. No more hiding, no more being ashamed. We're two middle-aged women who love each other. That's nothing to hide. I know. Your father will disown you. I know. Some of your friends will disappear. I know. It's going to be hard and messy and public. I know. I reached for her hand. But it'll be real. And I'm so tired of fake, Sophia. I want real. I want you. I want us. She looked at our joined hands, then at my face, then finally she smiled real. 6 months later, Sophia and I sat on the deck of the Vermont cabin we'd just closed on. The same type of place we'd looked at 15 years ago. Your father still not speaking to you? She asked, handing me a glass of wine. Nope, but my mother called last week. She said she always knew, and she's working on him. I leaned into Sophia's shoulder. Jonathan's poll numbers actually went up after he came out. Massachusetts loves an honest politician. She kissed my temple. How are you doing? Really? I thought about it. I'd lost my job. The board felt my divorce was too distracting. Lost my father's approval. Lost the social circle I'd cultivated for 2 decades. Lost the security of my old life. I've never been happier, I said honestly. Is that crazy? Not even a little. Sophia laced our fingers together. You know what I realized? We get 2 chances at life if we're lucky. The first one, we're young and scared and we make choices based on what other people want. But the second chance? That's when we get to choose for ourselves. I wasted so much time. We both did, but we have now. And if we're really lucky, we have 30 or 40 more years. She turned to face me. I love you, Victoria Chen. I've loved you since we were 28. I loved you when I hated you. I loved you through 15 years of silence. And I get to love you now, out loud, with nothing hiding us. I kissed her, soft, sweet, full of promise. I love you too, and I'm going to spend the rest of my life making up for the 15 years I wasted. Deal, she grinned. So, about this cabin, I was thinking we could turn the spare room into an office for you. You're an amazing marketing consultant. Working for yourself means you can be openly gay and successful. And the bedroom upstairs? Guest room. For when your mother finally convinces your father to visit. And for Jonathan and David, they're coming next month, remember? I looked out at the Vermont mountains, at the life we were building, at the woman beside me who'd waited 15 years for me to grow up and get brave. No regrets? Sophia asked softly. I thought about my father's disappointment, the lost job, the whispers, the judgment. Then I looked at Sophia, silver in her dark curls, laugh lines around her eyes, the woman I'd loved my entire adult life. Not a single one, I said. You're the woman I almost lost, and I'm never letting you go again. She pulled me close. Good. Because you're stuck with me, Victoria Chen, for the rest of our lives. And for the first time in 15 years, the rest of my life felt like something worth living. The wedding was small, just 50 people in our Vermont garden, Jonathan and David, my mother. My father stayed home but sent a card, which was progress. Sophia's huge Italian family, and the friends who'd stuck by us through everything. I wore ivory, Sophia wore champagne. We both wore flowers in our hair and matching gold bands. When the officiant said, "You may kiss your bride," Sophia pulled me close and whispered, "Was it worth it?" I looked at her, my wife, my partner, the love of my life, and thought about the journey, the fear, the pain, the courage it took to choose love over safety. Every single second, I whispered back. And then I kissed her, surrounded by people who loved us, in a life that was messy and real and absolutely perfect. Because sometimes the woman you almost lost is the woman you were always meant to find. Your turn. Let's talk. I need to know, have you ever chosen safe over happy? What happened? Do you regret it? If you could go back and make one different choice in your love life, what would it be? Do you believe it's ever too late to choose your authentic self? Why or why not? What's the bravest thing you've ever done for love? Victoria waited 15 years. Would you have forgiven her if you were Sophia? Drop your answers below. I want to hear your stories, the messy, the beautiful, the regretful, the triumphant. Because these are the real love stories that matter. And if this story touched you, tag someone who needs to read it. Someone who's choosing safety over happiness. Someone who needs permission to be brave. Someone who thinks it's too late. It's never too late to choose love. It's never too late to choose yourself. Share your second chance story. The community is waiting.